Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council. It is Tuesday, July 6, 2021, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Councilor Reed?
Here.
Councilor Herrera?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here.
Council President Smith?
Here.
Councilor Day?
Here.
And Councilor Duran?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much. If you are able, please rise, and would you all join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Council, I would like to ask your concurrence to make a change in tonight's agenda. We have two special orders of business, the first being a proclamation for Jerry Howard Day. Is there any objection to changing the agenda tonight? Hearing no objection, we will go to special orders of business. And it is my distinct pleasure to welcome Jerry Howard here tonight and to read a proclamation that was issued at the Volcanoes game on July 4th in Jerry's honor. Whereas Richard Jerry G. Howard joined the staff of the Salem Keizer Volcanoes in 2006, and whereas Jerry Howard served our country in the U.S. Air Force 1961 to 1966, and whereas Jerry Howard began a patriotic tribute salute at Volcano Stadium to thank, honor, and salute military service members, veterans, and their families in 2008, honoring 4 Oregon National Guard soldiers who had just returned from Iraq. And whereas Jerry Howard and the Salem Keizer Volcanoes have since honored thousands of military service members and veterans, from incoming recruits to Medal of Honor recipients, being inclusive of all ranks and branches of service at Volcano Stadium during their 4th of July patriotic tributes. And whereas the annual patriotic tributes have been attended by well over 60,000 fans who exemplify this community's commitment to our country and our military service members, veterans, and their families. And whereas the patriotic tributes have included special recognition for our fallen warriors, including a special memorial in 2017 for Senior Chief Petty Officer Tyrone Woods and Chief Petty Officer 2 Glenn Doherty, who were both killed in action on a rooftop in Benghazi, which celebration was attended by their mothers, Cheryl Bennett and Barbara Doherty, along with CIA operative John Teagan, who fought alongside them on the rooftop. And whereas the Northwest League of Professional Baseball honored Jerry Howard's accomplishments by voting him the winner of the league's Charles K. Murphy Patriotic Award in 2017, 2018, and 2019. And whereas the National Association of Professional Baseball, known as Minor League Baseball, honored Jerry Howard's accomplishments by voting him the winner of the National Charles K. Murphy Patriot Award in 2019. And whereas Jerry Howard organized the Volcano's 14th consecutive annual patriotic tribute on July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, 2021. And whereas Jerry Howard is steadfast in his support of veterans and exemplifies this city's motto of pride, spirit, and volunteerism. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Clark, with the concurrence of the Keizer City Council, proclaim July 4th, 2021 as Jerry Howard Day and encourage all the people to thank, honor, and salute the service of Jerry Howard to our country and to our military service members, veterans, and their families. Ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Howard.
Mayor, members of the City Council, I thank you very, very much for this very special honor. I'd also like to thank the Walker family, excuse me, sort of a big moment, Jerry, Lisa, and Mickey Walker for giving me the total freedom to organize this very special day. Although my name may be on this plaque, it really belongs to the hundreds and hundreds of outstanding men and women of the armed forces that have said, yes, Jerry, my family and I will take the time to be there. Because if they were not there, we could not have a patriotic tribute. It has grown from, like the mayor said, in 2008, we had 4 National Guard soldiers only. Since then, we have honored many, many outstanding and brave members of our armed forces. One this year that stands out was Sergeant Nicky Cologne. Nicky stepped on 2 IEDs in Iraq. His body is sort of torn up, and he said, I will be there. He lives in Albany, and he said, I will definitely be there. If he can be there, then I certainly can be there for them. I am the choreographer of this event. It's not about me. It's about all the brave men and women, like I said, who take the time to come out so we may thank, honor, and salute them. And I thank all of you for making this such an event, so prominent. Like the mayor said, in 2019, we were voted the outstanding patriotic tribute out of 160 minor league teams across America. And so thank you again. Thank you to the Walker family, who's behind me, for allowing me the freedom, for believing in me. And I appreciate everything that you've done. Thank you all very much.
The game, the event, the time we spent together at Volcano Stadium this last weekend was special to not only patriotic tribute, but our community coming back together after a very long 16 months of being apart. And it was truly a family reunion. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you to Jerry and Lisa Walker, who are here with us tonight. And thank you to the Volcanoes organization for your ongoing support for our military families, our veterans and their families. Thank you. What I'd like to do now then is, that's all I had for special orders of business. I said I was thinking of another item for later on. So let us go on to committee reports. And I don't have any city committees, but under public comment, I'm going to have the Chamber of Commerce lead off with Keizer Fest. So we will go into public comment this time. Oh, Mr. Boss, are you here for a committee report? Okay, just checking. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. This is a time of 5 minutes for you to talk, for us to listen on issues that are related to the policies and practices of the city of Keizer. And we would invite people to come and share their thoughts, remembering that the impugning of the character or motive of council members, community members, and staff is out of bounds. But keeping to talking about issues so that we can solve them together. But this is going to be a great celebration presentation right now, because I want to invite Corey Filardo, Danielle Bethel, and Bob Shackelford to talk to us about Keizer Fest. Come on down. Talk about getting back together.
Thank God.
I wish we all had a microphone, because I don't share very well in my newfound job. So I'm Danielle Bethel, and I'm just a Keizer resident and a proud supporter of the Keizer Chamber and Keizer Fest. In my previous role as the Chamber CEO, I led the way as the sole employee for a long time for the festival in the community. And in my recent transition, I stepped up to co-chair the festival with Dave Wallery, and he can't be here tonight because it's Marsha's birthday. And
happy wife,
if it was my meeting, we would sing her happy birthday, but it's not. So, And this is Dave's last year and my last year of planning this festival as a team. Dave's been doing it for almost 44 years, and I've been in it for almost 18. And it's been a unique year, exceptionally unique. So Corey Florida, who to my right, is the new executive director, and this is her first time being here to present on Keizer Fest, which is why I'm doing it. And Bob is the incoming president of the chamber and also going to be taking some of the large baton that Wallery is going to hand off here very soon, so he's learning. So overall, wow, 2020, right? We didn't have a Keizer Fest, and that was a remarkable year for our community. Fast forward to 2021, we didn't think we were going to have a Keizer Fest, but Keizer does what Keizer does best. And when the county commissioners and other leadership in the state felt like we were going to be able to move ahead, our community pivoted to try to put somewhat of a festival together. So Festival 2021 is going to look different than other years. The application and most of the activities are pretty similar, but we're constantly week by week pivoting, such as there's not going to be a carnival this year. Moving the event to August really challenged all of the vendors that could have provided access to us, and they're unavailable. So instead of a carnival and having a car show that was normally at St. Ed's, we're going to flip that and bring the car show down to Cherry Avenue, and it's going to be held at the same time, same day, just on Cherry Avenue at the Lions Club, and no carnival, which is really sad for the kids. But we do have groups that are working to bring community activities to the festival grounds for families and kids to engage, and Corey and other volunteers are working on that with local churches and businesses. What is the same? There will be a tent. There'll be a standard road closure on Wednesday, the Wednesday before the festival week. We will have lots of hustle and bustle of vendors coming out. A main tent's going to go up. We'll have music in the tent. We're going to have a parade, 2 parades. Hopefully the mayor's ready to walk, because the mayor pet parade will occur on Saturday. Following that is the main parade, where applications are coming in and people are excited to participate. I imagine the streets will be lined with thousands of folks because they've been interacting, asking if it's going to happen. In addition to that, they're going to have the kids, the talent showcase. This year it's a new sponsor and new organizers, but the activity will still occur for kids to come and perform in the main stage. There's another activity for kids. Oh, yes. So formerly known as the Contemporary Music Project at McNary High School, in 2019, we had them showcase on the main stage. It's local youth who perform with instruments, so bands or one-off musicians. They've changed their name to APT, which stands for?
Audio Production Technology.
Audio Production Technology. Obviously, the school district had to, professionalize the name. Anyway, they're going to come down and perform. Andy Thomas, who's been a long-time supporter and musician in our community, is organizing those students. The goal is to really just bring community out to the tent. Let's be Keizer. Let's participate together. We're excited that JFK is going to be the closing band on Saturday night. It's been a long time in the making. They've been really anxious to come, and they have been marketing like crazy. So Saturday night's going to be huge. It'll be the same fees as before, same major sponsors. There's going to be a golf tournament on Wednesday this year instead of Friday, because there's a lot going on at the golf course. So there's just a few date change and activities moving around, but overall, it'll definitely be Keizer Fest as we all know and love. I think with just a twist here and there. So is there any questions about that overall? I'd really love for Corey to answer them.
Step on up, Corey. We're friendly here. All right, questions for Corey about Keizer Fest. And yes, Millie is all ready for that walk with me in the pet parade. So she will have her little headband with flowers on. So
Can't wait.
that my friend's daughter bought for her. So she'll be set. Anyone? Questions on Keizer Fest? So the parade, Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Are we doing a run too again this time?
Yes, we are. We're doing the Keizer Fest 3K and 5K, and it'll be happening up and down River Road, and they'll start and stop at O'Reilly's. And we've got some of our sponsors returning for that. We'll have the Yum Bowls from Cafe Yum, so we'll look forward to that. Post-run food, yes. We must refill our bodies after we expend all the energy.
Absolutely. Well, a whole lot of work has had to happen very quickly, and to pivot to we don't know, go. And thank you to all of the work that's gone into that. And thank you. If people want to volunteer to help, where do they go?
Can you repeat that last
If
part?
people want to help, how do they sign up?
They can call me or email me. My phone number at the chamber is 503-393-9111, or you can email Corey, Corri, at keizerchamber.com. And I did want to make mention for Thursday night, our kickoff party, we are having a cornhole tournament by Oregon City Cornhole. And I just posted all that information to register through them for that event. It's a $10 registration fee. There's cash prizes, and Oregon City Cornhole has sponsored the event and will be turning around the proceeds raised to return to a local nonprofit, and that is to be determined. And then we'll also on Thursday night be having a comedy show, and Linda Baker and her crew are helping organize all that.
And that's through Keizer Homegrown Theater will be involved?
Yes,
Fabulous.
exactly.
All right. Any other questions? So lots coming up, and we're really excited to be getting everybody back together and celebrating Keizer Fest together.
Yes, and I wanted to say
Yes.
one last thing. We're so grateful for your support and the support of our community partners and the sponsors that are stepping up to continue this great event in Keizer.
I'll say something. I should say something.
You should.
I am the president as of July 1st again for the Keizer Chamber. I took it on in 2018 and 19. It's a challenge. I love it. I'm going to take over Dave's role. We're going to keep this Keizer Fest going and the parade. I do the golf tournament every year. It's been very successful. A lot of people have a lot of fun. Elizabeth was in it last year. I'm sure there were some others here that were here, but
I wrote a check.
she wrote a check.
That's how you get score a birdie right there, is with the check.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, I look forward to being the president again in the chamber. If anyone has any issues or would like to talk to me or Corey, we're always available. I'm down at the chamber all the time, and Corey's doing a great job. We just hired another employee down there, so we're ready to rock and roll. And of course, things are a little different this year for the Keizer Fest, so hopefully all positive attitudes, and we can just do as good as we can and make the city proud and have as much fun as we can. Unfortunately, the carnival's out, so the kids won't have as many activities. But hopefully the parade and the doggy parade, don't forget the pads. It's usually in May, so now it's in August, so might want to have some doggy pads for the hot pavement. So anyway, thanks again, City Councilor. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And again, I just want to say thank you to all of our community partners, and that you're please welcome to call me or email me. We'd love to have you involved and pull this great event off. So thank you again.
All right. Councilor Ferrer, do you have a question or comment?
I have a quick question, if I may,
Please.
Madam Mayor. Bob, is this a 2-year term or a 1-year term?
Well, it's one incoming, one president, one outgoing, and then the rest is the board, so I'm stuck with the chamber the rest of my life.
Well, I was going to invite you again to make a second appearance next year at with our leadership. You did a great job
At the Kennedy
4 years ago.
Yeah, I loved it. It was fun.
Thank you.
He has all the time in the world. All he does is golf otherwise. If for kids who are watching that want to participate in the talent show, it's being organized this year by the new the Rec Center in Valor Mentoring. So you could reach out to Tim Davis. They are the ones recruiting the talent and organizing the show, and there are cash prizes. So there's always an incentive. Of course, we want to see the kids perform, but ultimately we want to help them maybe engage in college scholarship or something like that in the future. So the Rec Center in Valor Mentoring for the talent show.
Wonderful.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All good? Thank you so much. All right, got one other person signed up for public comment, and that's Sherry Gottfried.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, councilors. I'm Sherry Gottfried. I am a Keizer resident. I am on the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association, though I'm not representing that board tonight, and I'm the manager of the Grass Hut in Keizer. I am here today to ask the council to think about the following information before considering the approval for the permit that has been put forth to you tonight by the Keizer Chamber of Commerce. I am not here to be a Debbie Downer. I am excited about an event. But unfortunately, on June 18th, I received information that they had applied and submitted for this permit to be held, the first weekend in August. at the same location, Cherry Avenue. There has been no notices given to the SECNA area business or any of those neighbors living in the area. After I received the information regarding the permit, I personally went and visited the majority of the businesses that will have a direct impact on this festival. Basically, you have a handout there. I visited 17 businesses. 5 of them were aware of it, 3 of them being the major places where the sponsor or where the event is held. The other 2 were chamber reps and a sponsor of the event. To date, there's been 1 meeting, which I did have the pleasure of attending, thank you. That was held June 28th via Zoom. At that meeting, discussion was given regarding the possible option of a 3rd weekend in May. Due to current COVID, an option of a possible August date and time might have worked out better. It was then stated the chamber board would be meeting to discuss possible options in in August. So it's now July 21. Our neighborhood is receiving a 30-day notice about a possible major event in our area. There has been no additional meeting invitations or information regarding the plans, street closures, parking, safety, vendors, or being ADA compliant. As you remember, prior to 2019, that was a big issue. In addition, the festival is typically the 3rd weekend in May. An event in August will bring possible negative impacts to my neighborhood with the lack of commerce for businesses in those areas. In closing, I would like you to note I did provide handouts about the parking where they did say they had ADA parking. I took pictures, there was not. In closing, I do want to remind the city. In April 2019, the SECNA board met at a regularly scheduled meeting. It did have a quorum. We held a discussion regarding the 2019 Iris Festival event. By unanimous vote, the SECNA board confirmed. Due to blatant disregard for the concerns of Southeast Keizer area neighbor residents and businesses, the Iris Festival is no longer welcome in our neighborhood. This message was submitted during public testimony on May 6, 2019, here at City Council. Thank you again, and does anyone have any questions for me tonight?
Thank you. I have one. Has the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association met this year?
We've met 3 times this year.
When was the last meeting? Do you remember?
June.
June, okay.
Yes.
So the board has not met, or has met just about the time this was announced?
Yes.
Okay. So there hasn't been a meeting that was scheduled?
There
Usually they
was.
take the summer off, right?
Yes, yes, and we do meet every month. There was meetings in March. Like I said, we have not received any more information. It's just kind of sad and depressing because all those little businesses on that 2-page handout, not one of them knew. Not even the Fens or Feline in the same building as those guys. It just seems really blatantly disregarded to the business in the area. Nobody knew. I at least let them know. They all know now. Thank you. I did my job for the chamber. I'm going to lose a lot of business that day. I am diligently preparing, but it's not fair. It really isn't fair. I understand I understand the festival. I understand COVID. I understand everything that went on, and I understand getting back together, but at what expense?
Other questions for Councilor Kohler?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ms. Godfrey, thank you for coming again this year. Do you have some suggestions on what would work?
It would have been nice had they have come out when they went and talked to the Elks, the Lions, and the Eagles, the Columbia Bank. Had they have come all to the other businesses, it wasn't hard. It took me an hour. 1 hour out of my time to visit all those businesses that are going to be from Cherry Avenue and Alder all the way down to the end.
But my question is
I don't know what they could do. I really don't.
what would you like to see done?
I don't know.
Okay.
I would like to see communication, which this is the 3rd year there has been none. 2018, 2019, and 2021.
All right. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Other questions? Councilor Herrera?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And you might have said something to this effect. I remember in 2019, I remember going over that in my mind, but have you communicated with the chamber lately in terms of, working
No,
something compromising, kind of like Mr. Kohler was saying?
No, unfortunately, like I said, I just found out like 2 weeks ago. I'm busy with my business. I've been working 6 days a week due to some issues that we had with staff not being able to work. So unfortunately, that time wasn't available to me. I went out this last weekend, and that's when I did all this due diligence.
Because it seems to me like there could be some kind of communication that would
You think there
resolve
would be.
it,
They know that I'm avid against this, in the neighborhood, and yet they seem to never want to talk to me. They all know. Bob knows. Corey might not.
Okay.
Danielle does.
Thank you for showing up here.
Yep, thank you.
Sure.
And so, what I would like to do is give an opportunity, since, you have, your experience, and if there's any questions on the outreach and so forth might be helpful for the community here. So I'm going to give them a chance to answer some of that. And again, this is going to be a unique festival this year.
Definitely.
So look forward to figuring things out as we go.
My worries, once again, is that street closure. Like I said, there was numerous accidents in 2019, numerous near misses. That is a big issue, and it's a big safety issue. Everybody assumes that everybody on Cherry is going to go forward, and people on Alder turn right in front of everyone. I almost plowed 3 people in 2019. I've seen 3 accidents myself. That is a big safety issue at that intersection.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want us to come back up and rebut, or I'm not sure what you're asking?
So all I'm asking is, do you want to talk a little bit about the communications? Not so much as a rebuttal, but anyway, just some of the outreaches, and especially for this year.
Sure. So there are a couple of things to address. One, the ADA conversation. So we've diligently worked with our partners in the community, the Oregon Paralyzed Veterans of America specifically, who are the local volunteers in our community who monitor and assess would-be fines for people who park inappropriately in ADA spaces. They know all the rules, and we presented them our plan in early 2019 of what the ADA parking would look like in the vicinity, and we had more than one location available, accessible for ADA parking, and they approved it. That's a plan that moves forward year to year. It's the same exact parking as years before that is marked. This year it may be different because the Eagles are now in place of where the other organization, I can't remember what it's called, the pot shop was whatever it is, it's a pot lounge, thank you.
PGN.
Yeah, so it was PGN, and we had a great relationship with them, and this year, it's fluid. They're a new organization in town trying to figure out what their foothold is gonna look like, so we're still negotiating parking access for vendors and ADA accessible parking in their lot. Granted, there is a decline, so there's space available at the Chamber parking lot, Friends of Feline, that's marked, it's blocked off, and it's visibly noticed. And then there's businesses also just north on Cherry Avenue. Yes, they do have to cross the street, but it's flat, it's accessible, and it's available. When it comes to the safety issue, I think it's Alder and Cherry, where there's a stop sign that sits back off of the road that previously cars would run, even with the detour signs that we had in place. So there's multiple detour signs, there's previous stop sign, there's a warning of traffic change ahead. And Officer Leday could speak to this specifically because he ticketed several people in 2019 as a motor cop sitting on that corner watching. One of the things we can't do is force people to follow the traffic laws. We can provide ample signage and notice, which we do. We provide notification in social media and the newspaper, in addition to the signage of the detour of the change ahead. So if people are going to run that's their responsibility to deal with the law, and the law is available. And they've done an amazing job. I keep pointing over here to Chief Teague, but Keizer Police does a really good job of monitoring that area. We also have the big Department of Transportation reader boards for people to notice the change of traffic as they come in north on Cherry Avenue, to tell people that there's a detour that direction. We also accommodated the request from Sherry and other business partners on Cherry for 2019 to change our signage to let folks know that the businesses were open and there was accessibility all the way down to them. It just wasn't a through access. We put a sign on the Manbred and Cherry intersection notifying them that the businesses south of the festival were available and how to get there through the detour, which again is in the newspaper and online. The notification component was a little difficult. The Chamber's in transition like everybody else this year, and they haven't been able to go door to door. And some of the plans were just made, such as we just determined that there wasn't going to be a carnival in the last 2 weeks. And so what does that pivot look like? we always can do a better job, and we always as an organization want to partner. But frankly, and I know that Sherry knows I know this, she doesn't want the festival there. So I don't know that there's a lot of improvements that we can make to accommodate her specifically. But other businesses, there's 26 specifically that we have a list for that receives email notification of activities as non-members or members of the organization of upcoming events. In addition to that, all the neighborhood associations are listed in our directory, and they receive online notification of upcoming meetings and activities through the newsletter that goes out every Monday. So there's an opportunity to be informed. Whether or not that directly goes to Sherry or specific members, I don't know. But I do know that the presidents of each organization receive information from the chamber on a regular, and there's an opportunity for them to engage. Is that helpful?
That was helpful to know the steps that have been taken and that we will continue to evolve, and 2022 will continue to look different.
Yes, thank you. And Sherry, I encourage you to chat with Corey. I think you'll really like her. Great.
All right.
There you go.
All right. Okay, thank you very much. I have nobody else signed up for public testimony. At this time, I would like to acknowledge the written testimony that we have received. And again, like the public testimony, the written testimony is anything that has been submitted for the record. The name of the writer, city of residence, and topic line is read into the record. And the written comment will be posted online. We do not post a writer's email or home address because that's not appropriate. We also don't publish the home addresses of people who participate here in person. And if there's a follow-up for any of this information that is necessary, the staff will follow up or bring an agenda item to us if that is necessary. So the comments that were sent to City Council from June 22nd through July 6th. So thank you, Trace, that was fast. Elizabeth Swan, resident of Keizer, Education and Action, June 22nd. Elizabeth Swan, resident of Keizer, Dangerous Conditions Heat. Jane Herb, resident of Keizer, State Shared Revenue Funds. Kim Reyes, citizen of Keizer, Drought, Winds, and Fireworks. Claudia Boyd, citizen of Keizer, banning fireworks on 4th of July. Bob Arnsmeyer, citizen of Keizer, fireworks ban. Linda Warner, citizen of Keizer, upcoming 4th of July. Royce Reed, no residents listed, say no to Salem Casino, and this is the same form letter that we've received. So we've received numerous ones of this particular letter. And then Randy Maddox, I know it says no residents listed, but I believe he is a resident of Keizer. And his topic line was, please stop the sale of fireworks and ban fireworks from being shot off. Let the professionals do it only, please. So those will all be added as well. All right. Let's go then to public hearings. We have one public hearing tonight, and that is for the Poorhouse Saloon liquor license change of ownership. The public hearing is now open. City Manager Pro Tem.
Madam Mayor, City Council, on June 15th, the city received an application for a change of ownership for the liquor license at the Poorhouse. As required by city ordinance, the Keizer Police Department has reviewed the application and has no reason to recommend denial. In addition, the Keizer Planning Department finds the location of the establishment to be properly zoned and has no additional comment on the application. Notice of the public hearing for the change of ownership was mailed to property owners within 200 feet of the establishment, and notice was also published in the Keizer Times. As of the writing of this report, there have been no comments received. It is recommended that the public hearing be open to allow testimony from the applicant or interested individuals, and upon completion, the hearing closed. It is further recommended the council recommend approval of the application for the Poorhouse Saloon under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and ordinances of the City of Keizer. This recommendation shall then be forwarded to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. With that, is there any questions?
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? Seeing none, there is nobody signed up to testify on this matter. Is there anyone here present who would like to testify on this in this public hearing? Going once, twice. Any further questions or comments from council before I close the public hearing? The public hearing is now closed. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council recommend approval of the application for the Poorhouse Saloon under the guidelines as established by ORS 471178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council recommend approval of the application for the Poorhouse Saloon under the guidelines as established by ORS 471.178 and the ordinances of the City of Keizer, and forward this recommendation to the Oregon Liquor Control Commission for final approval. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. That concludes our public hearings for this evening. That will take us now to item 8A under administrative action, resolution authorizing temporary use and signs subject to conditions for Keizer Fest 2021. City Manager Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Shannon Johnson, City Attorney.
Thank you, Tim. Madam Mayor and Council, the annual Keizer Fest is upon us, a different time of year, as we've all heard here a little earlier this evening. We have two items on the agenda connected with the Keizer Fest that we do each year. One is the approval by the council of temporary use and associated signage. As part of the development code, we have a provision for permitted temporary uses to approve by resolution authorizing specific events and festivals. As was mentioned, the area in the last several years has been on Cherry Avenue by the Lions Club and the Elks Club, etc. The resolution is similar to ones in years past and sets forth the allowance for special signage and the direction by our police department as to where some of the signage will go and restrictions on those dates. And I won't go through all those conditions, but they are listed as attached to the resolution. So the recommendation is to adopt the resolution which authorizes those temporary use subject to those conditions. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? All right, hearing none. Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021 authorizing temporary use and signs subject to conditions for Keizer Fest 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021 authorizing temporary use and signs subject to conditions for Keizer Fest 2021. Discussion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8B, resolution authorizing a temporary suspension of the ordinance prohibiting street vendors. City Manager Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. Again, I'll turn it over to City Attorney Shannon Johnson.
Thank you, Tim, Madam Mayor and Council. This is the second resolution I was referring to each year. The Chamber requests a suspension of the street vendor ordinance. We have an ordinance that prevents vending in the right-of-way. During the festival, we usually adopt this. This is the same resolution as was adopted in 2019. It allows a temporary suspension from 7 a.m. to noon on August 7th. All vendors must have any necessary governmental permits or approvals, and they're not allowed to interfere with or impede pedestrian or vehicular access in any way. So unless there's any questions, the recommendation is to adopt this resolution. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on the staff report? All right, hearing none. Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021 authorizing a temporary suspension of the ordinance prohibiting street vendors.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021 authorizing a temporary suspension of the ordinance prohibiting street vendors. Discussion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, please signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Item 8C is resolution authorizing the mayor to sign interim city management employment agreement with Roland Wesley Hare II. City Manager Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council.
Try to contain your enthusiasm.
It's been an interesting few months for sure. I'll just say that I'm hopeful that this will transition into something else because I'm rolling into audit season now. So, that's what really, a sign of my times of what I do every day. So it's either audit season or budget season. So you caught me at the transition. Anyway, At the June 7th, 2021 City Council meeting, staff was directed to move forward with the process of reviewing Wes Hare as the interim city manager. We were asked to perform background and reference checks, scheduling an informal meeting with the candidate, and if there were no questions or concerns, negotiating an offer of temporary employment. As of this point, we've done all the tasks that we were assigned, and there have been no additional questions or concerns. Staff recommends that the City Council adopt the attached resolution authorizing the mayor to sign the interim city manager employment agreement with Roland Wesley Hare II. And if you'd like me to, I'd walk that over to you at this time.
We have to vote first, Tim.
Okay. With that, is there any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Wood on the staff report? I do want to acknowledge and thank Mr. Hare for being with us this evening. We're glad to see you and for bearing with us through all these steps to this point, and we're looking forward to this next step as well. Any questions? Council President Smith.
I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the mayor to sign interim city management employment agreement with Roland Wesley Hare II.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, authorizing the mayor to sign interim city management employment agreement with Roland Wesley Hare II. Discussion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Okay. Yay.
Now you can.
I like the name.
All right. Then let's go on to item 8D, which is resolution adopting work after retirement policy. City Manager Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. As requested at a previous council meeting, staff was directed to come back with a policy for the work after retirement so that we can take advantage of Senate Bill 1049. Just for clarification, that was a Senate bill out of the 2019 legislative session, so it's been with us for a little bit. This Senate bill makes a few changes to how PERS works for people who are at retirement age. Some of the key provisions are it does eliminate the limitation on the number of hours retirees can work. That's the critical one that allows us to be able to bring people who would like to retire back full time. It also does not require the employee 6% contribution. So as I put on my finance hat, that's the piece that immediately catches my eye as immediate cost savings to the city. The final piece is that it redirects the employer contribution, which is the other part that the city is required to pay on a PERS eligible employee. It redirects that to the unfunded pension liability. And for us finance accountant folks, that unfunded liability is what keeps us up at night. That's really what is driving the increase in the PERS contribution rates that cities are required to pay. So again, this is kind of trying to pull people, tier 1, tier 2 type of folks who, as a percent of their gross salary, has the highest contribution rates that the city is required to pay. We're currently looking at about 30% altogether for a tier 1, tier 2 person. So that is a significant percentage of their gross salary that we have to pay to the PERS monstrosity. So with that, staff recommends that you adopt the attached resolution so that we can take advantage of some of the cost savings associated with Senate Bill 1049 and work to reduce our unfunded liability, which will ultimately help the city with lower contribution rates into the future. So with that, if there's any additional questions, I would be free to take those.
Thank you. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was just had a quick question about the rehire request. Is that any different than a normal hiring process as far as who approves that request? Is it just an HR function, or is it department head and HR as it would normally be?
It would be a normal process for us.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Day.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Does this apply only to former employees of the city of Keizer, or if someone is a tier 1 employee who worked for the city of Troutdale? and they wanted to come work for the city of Keizer, could we take advantage of that as well?
We absolutely would take advantage of it, yes.
So, okay, great.
We do have, when this bill first came out, we had some temporary employees associated with our community center who, just came back for some pocket change after they retired, and we were required to do the same process with them.
But I mean, they don't have to be former employees of Keizer?
No, they do not.
Okay.
That's a good clarification. I wasn't clear on that. No,
Because that could
All
help
right.
us continue to pay down our
Right,
unfunded
and we
liability.
get the positions filled, because I don't know about City of Keizer, actually I do, getting employees across the board in this area. We have help wanted signs out everywhere. And when we can bring in a lateral, someone with some experience or, a proven track record, work track record, that's only a plus for us, in my opinion. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I also wanted to point out, in addition to the advantages that Mr. Wood points out, that another huge benefit of this policy is that we have a lot more consistency as we transition from old to new. Instead of having that 6-month period of retirement where we are unable to hire somebody, this helps us be able to keep that transition a lot more fluid and smooth.
Yeah, and keep the staffing up. That's a good point. Mr. Wood?
I would second that. As I look at we have a list of about 15 to 20 or so names that potentially could be eligible for this program.
Oh, Lord.
As I look at that represents 20% of our workforce. So the silver tsunami is upon us, and we've been experiencing it for several years now, and we're going to continue to experience it, so.
I resemble that remark.
That's awesome.
That's very true, and as a boomer, I recognize that, our generation being a very large generation, we came into the workforce, as a large cohort, and although some were able to retire earlier than others, it's starting to build as more of us are able to retire. Some of us are still working full-time. A lot of us are, but anyway, but that's a point well taken. We've seen that particularly in our police department, but I'm getting the impression that this is pretty much across the board.
That would be correct.
Okay. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just like to seek the opinion of any of our department heads.
I think that's fair. As we move
Chief
forward with
Teague,
this.
like Chief Teague or Mr. Lawyer, and how do you feel about, in your opinion, is this the right thing for us to do?
What I'm asking.
Thank you.
For me, I support it, although it doesn't directly impact my department because I don't have anybody slated for retirement or that's announced themselves going to retire anytime soon, probably before this bill expires. I wish I was one of them to take advantage of it, but I'm not.
That's good to know. Well, and I think for the folks at home who would like to know, this does have a sunset, correct? And the sunset
Right now,
would be
December 2023.
December
24.
24, okay. So December 31, 2024 is the sunset for this provision.
I thought it was 25.
Okay, so 24. So that's also good to know at this point, although there's an intervening long session and things happen. All right, any other questions, comments on this? Okay, do we have a motion out yet? No. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, adopting work after retirement policy.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2021, adopting work after retirement policy. Further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us to the consent calendar. Council President Smith, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. There are 4 items on the consent calendar. A resolution approving signage for the story poles. B, resolution accepting and approving plans for placement of Insta Art mural at the Keizer Rapids Park. C is approval of the June 14th, 2021 work session minutes, and D is approval of June 21st, 2021 regular session minutes.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls?
Madam Mayor,
Councilor Day?
I believe we have to pull item C because I wasn't here, so I'll have to abstain.
Okay. We'll pull C. Any other polls? Council President Smith?
Actually, I think we need to pull 2021. I wasn't here.
Okay, C and D.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the reminder. Okay, then I move that we approve the Keizer City Council approve consent calendar items A and B.
Second?
Consent calendars, item A and B have been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Motion passes unanimously. Item C, Councilor Day. So you were absent, correct?
I
So
was
you're gonna be-
absent.
So you're going to be
I voted,
abstaining?
yeah.
All right. Council President Smith.
I move the Keizer City Council approve the consent calendar item C.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt consent calendar item C. Slow down. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, signify by saying no. Any abstentions?
Aye.
Motion passes 6 aye and 1 abstention from Councilor Day. Item D, Council President Smith.
If I'm abstaining, I still read it?
Yes.
Sorry, you are, yeah, go ahead.
I move the Keizer City Council approve consent calendar item D.
Second?
The consent calendar items. I don't know that you can't. The parliamentarians are both saying we can, so I'm going to go with that. Item D has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying no. Any abstentions?
Aye. She was going.
Motion passes with 5 ayes and 2 abstentions. That's Smith and Reed. That takes us to other business. This time is provided for the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. City Manager Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. At this point, I will just turn it over to staff and see if we have anything to bring up. Shannon, do you have anything tonight?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Oh, Shane?
No, nothing tonight, thanks.
Bill?
Nothing from me either, thank you.
Chief Teague?
Yeah, I thought I'd tell you that we had dozens of fireworks calls over the holidays, as you might imagine. Everyone was compliant when we contacted them. Didn't make any arrests, didn't issue any citations. We're certainly ready to do that. More remarkable, I read through every one of them, of the calls that came in over the weekends, looking for the fireworks calls. More remarkable were the number of fires we responded to. I only noticed a couple that were fireworks related, but it definitely told me that fire is a hazard. I think for the first time I'm a true believer, having seen that. What's interesting to it, to me, is I don't know if things are getting better because we're receiving fewer calls for service, or people are just getting used to it, or if people don't trust that we'll do anything about it. And I'm not sure how to identify which of those three is going on. I will say this, though, if you call us and you can tell us where they're coming from, we do go, we do respond, we do talk to people, we do tell them to shut it down. If they don't shut it down, we'll cite or arrest them. So even though we did not have as many calls for service this year as we've seen in the past, next year, please call us. By the way, we have extra cops on duty just to handle fireworks calls. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Tracy? Michelle? That's it. Any questions for staff?
I do want to add to what Chief Teague said. I encourage people to make those calls. I personally made a few of them, and I noticed that shortly thereafter, things got a lot quieter. So thank you. And on behalf of my dog, Amelia, I want to say thank you. But I really appreciated the responsiveness. I got a very nice phone call back from Officer Jeremy Darst. He wasn't going to know, who the person who's calling is like, ooh, she only got a phone call because she's the mayor. No, it's the follow-up that you do. And so I was able to go through the process of calling, hearing, or the quiet that happened afterwards, and the resulting phone call. I really appreciated the follow-up on that.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to share with people, I shared on social media, to please go ahead and call that the police do not monitor Nextdoor, they do not monitor Facebook for comments, but that they've got to call 503-390-2000 to actually get it into the system. So hopefully we'll get the word out when, hopefully the people who are doing it this year discovered that we're serious and they won't do it next year. And they might want to save that money for something else. So that would be a good thing. Great. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to welcome Mr. Bill Lawyer home from his vacation and wish Tracy a safe time on her upcoming vacation.
All right. Very good. It's a good time to start taking some time. Any other comments for staff? Councilor Day.
I just wanted to follow up on the ARPA funds, with the legislature having adjourned. Do we have any other clarity on those funds?
At this point, I'm still waiting on the state to make their request. They have not given us any contract information yet. We will get a contract similar to what we did with the CARES Act grant funds. And from what I understand, they still have not given us a number as far as what our amount will be. So again, somewhere between 8.2 million and 8.8 million. I'm ready to spend it though. Let's do this.
We can make those dollars scream for mercy as we make them stretch like we do every other dollar that we put to work here.
Absolutely.
No dollar sits on the sidelines. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Wood. So with that, I'd like to go to council member reports. And before we lead off with Councilor Duran, I want to first say it is so nice to be sitting here with all of you again, but we're all realizing that we're not really used to having this little elbow room, but it's really nice to be able to be sitting together again and it's much easier for me to see you. And I'm looking forward to us being able to be working together moving forward through this next phase of whatever 2021 brings us. That's not a dare, 2021. Chill out. All right. Yeah, chill out, 2021. Councilor Duran.
I have nothing to report, but I do want to say this is nice being up here all together again. Well, for the first time for me, but having things close, this just looks much easier to work with.
All right, thank you. Councilor Day.
One thing, Madam Mayor, I want to thank the Marion County Fire District. On Saturday, the 3rd, out at Quinniby and 35th, was a big fire out there in the Shriners Gardens, and they were on top of it like that. So I just wanted to extend a much appreciation, gratefulness for their quick action.
Thank you very much. Huge shout out to Marion County Fire District 1. Thank you. Council President Smith.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have anything to report on other than I will be gone. I leave Friday for a week to Shasta, so I hope there's water. I don't even know anymore. But we already bought the houseboat, so we're going to be gone.
So with council's indulgence, we've been so involved with our neighbors in Detroit, and they had a very special celebration that's not only just for the 4th of July, but also as this community is rebuilding both physically and emotionally. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would be happy to. So I am a board member for, I don't know a thing, other than having my house up there and it burning down and everything, being there from day one, as all the council has been very supportive, and the city of Keizer. I was added to the board of directors of a nonprofit called the Detroit Lake Foundation 2 months ago. And the Detroit Lake Foundation has been around a long time. It was back when the water was really low and they were trying to get town to survive at that time. It kind of went into went to sleep for a while because it wasn't needed. They revived it after the fires, and as everyone knows, it's very scary and it's very difficult to have hope when a community is decimated to 80% of the buildings and such. We were able to take on the fireworks over the lake this last weekend, and it was a spectacular event. We started off with just a ton of volunteers, just the number of community members. We just said, come help. And we had over 550 hamburgers for hamburger feed on Friday night, 300 hot dogs. The place, we've got a band out of Portland, Lisa and the Hitmen. They donated their time. Every single thing. The city of Keizer donated decorations from when we opened City Hall, I believe is what it was, and put those across the stage and had an amazing time. In addition, we had a pancake feed the next day. Again, everything was donated. 4,000 pancakes were handed out, 1,000 sausages. We had the cutest thrown together parade. Didn't cost to get in it, but you should have seen the kids and the faces. And it was a roll of the dice, all the way up to the night of the fireworks, which had the company out of Canby did a spectacular job. My husband's part of the Detroit City Council, and he's the safety commissioner. And so we actually took the giant fireworks guys who were in a little golf cart driving them out towards Piety Island, and you got thousands of pounds of fireworks in an explosive vehicle behind you. And I was like, we're in a golf cart. Is this a good idea right now? But we got it all set up, and we really messaged it well. We had the fire department out there watering things down. And the feedback I'm getting is that this was the best weekend, and it's what this community needed. And I cannot thank the committee members that we threw together 30, 45 days ago to pull this off. And it was worth it. We ended up watching the fireworks from on top of Butte, which is now when you come into town, it's that road that's sitting up there with the one house that's being built. And from there, when the fireworks were done, you could hear the roar of all the applause and whistles from across that lake and that city, and that was worth it. It was a ton of work, but it was absolutely worth it, and I am so blessed and honored to have been a part of it. So thank you for that, and thank you for all the donors, sponsors, and just banners alone. We sold banners, and I think there was 34 banners we sold, $500 a piece. Thank you, Keizer Iris Festival, for teaching me how to price things. And we were able to raise $25,000 just from the banners. That money is going to go towards completing the community center up there, which will be the new city hall, because they lost that as well. It's going to have a place for fire engine to be housed, because they don't have that either right now in all their facilities. So that, I encourage you to watch the Santiam Rebuild Coalition on Facebook. It has the whole story as we're going through this, and watch how Detroit really truly rises from the ashes, because that's what we're doing. And by the way, after all that messaging and begging people and thousands of people, we heard one illegal firework, because people respected it. And I thank all those people for doing that.
That is wonderful. Thank you for all the work, and it's just been wonderful to see how our communities have come together.
That would not have happened.
No. Oh, this has been great. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very encouraging. Councilor Herrera.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good job there, Elizabeth, with all that work over there. You guys have done so much. It's amazing.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera.
I always like to see good things like that in our community and in our neighbors. I'm going to devote my time to talk about some of the good things that happen in our community. Pat Fisher came over and put our peace pool, which looks pretty nice. I helped her as much as I could with my physical limitations, but it came out pretty good. I want to kudos to her. And I want to send a congratulations to Wally Wing, my good friend and neighbor, who spent 32 years at Gubser as a PE teacher, and just an incredible coach too. By the way, he coached with Gordy James at Willamette for many years, and I've known him for over 30 years. He is Crystal Apple Award winner. He's done it all, and it's sad to see him go in a way, but great work, Wally. So anyway, I also want to mention a couple things that happened over the weekend. One of them was, if you don't know the name Sebastian Francisco Perez, well, he was the immigrant that died outdoors in the heat in St. Paul. And I'm communicating with Picun and other to advocate for stronger accommodations for field workers during the 90-degree and over weather. Everything from shady rest to more water accessibility and different things. But That's very sad. All the people that we lost during the heat thing was sad, but that in particular kind of hit home because of I used to do that. Anyway, so the worst thing that happened, I guess, was my good friend Michael McGann lost his son in a tragic accident, motorcycle accident, on the 3rd, and it was a shock. It's so heartbreaking. The same family that lost Jackson lost his dad, and my heart breaks for those families that have gone through that, not once but twice now, and I just want folks to give them their space right now, but sometime come along, and we all know who Mike McGann was. He was an athletic director here forever, and my partner in crime, concerts and everything else, so that's all I got. Oh, but the last thing I want to do is our League of Oregon Cities Color Caucus, which is doing really well, but we lost our president, Dr. Jenkins from Albany City Councilor. He took a job in Notre Dame, and I'm really happy for him. Yeah, he took a job. He's going to be director of equity and inclusion at Notre Dame. How you like that?
Wow.
And so anyway, I just, it was kind of a tough weekend, and I'm glad nothing went wrong. Me and my dog voted against the fireworks. But anyway, everything went smooth, and kudos to the police department, fire department, everybody else, and kudos to my neighbors, although they went pretty late. It was pretty fun. But anyway, that's all I got. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And Councilor Rivera, thank you for reminding us to send our condolences and our heartfelt prayers and thoughts to the McGann family. That's a tragic loss. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One of the really exciting things I did was with Mayor Clark, we attended the Strategic Government Resources Common Ground Conference. And it was a fabulous conference. And I have pages and pages of notes. And Mayor Clark and I got together afterwards and kind of talked about what that could mean for our city, and hoping to pull together some kind of work session sometime soon with that information. Because just finding common ground is such a very important function of not only city government, but just being a community. And there were just many different perspectives that were represented, and just really excellent information, excellent conference. And we hope to be able to put that into action as part of how we do business. The only other thing I wanted to announce is that the Keizer Homegrown Theater is going to be doing the complete works of Shakespeare, and that opens this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the following Thursday, Friday, Saturday. All but one of the cast and crew are Keizer residents, and so we are really, really proud of that. Tom Cavanaugh, the McNary High School director, is in it. Jennifer Johnson, Jeremy Clubb, who's a McNary alum, and a director. Both Jennifer Johnson and Jeremy Clubb have directed for Keizer Homegrown before. So anyway, it is a fabulous show, and you can get tickets online from KeizerHomegrownTheater.org, and that's theater with an R-E. But anyway, I would really recommend that show. It's fantastic.
And we know the director.
Yes, well, what was I thinking? But it's been fun.
I think it's
The abridged full works.
Yes, it is the abridged works. Thank you. The complete works of Shakespeare abridged. It is 97 minutes and 37 plays and hundreds of laughs, as the poster will say.
Yes, indeed. So, and what's people may be wondering, the previous show was outside. This one is going to be inside.
And air conditioning. We moved inside because it was too hot.
And we could.
Yep, absolutely.
We were able to reopen the Keizer Cultural Center to be able to allow for this. This is the first public event in the Cultural Center since the shutdown. So
Yep, absolutely.
What a way to start.
We're excited.
Me too. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I understand that Sasquatch has been sighted in Keizer Rapids Park.
Do tell.
It's tall. It's taller than I am. Keizer Community Dinner was held this last week with 351 meals being served. Remind you that in July, your city council will be serving an inside sit-down meal for July. So looking forward to that. Couple things. We have a Marion County Fair coming up this week. And a special announcement for me, I have a son by the name of Hiram that is doing a recital this Saturday at McNary High School at 6 p.m. Admission is free. So come enjoy some viola music if you'd like.
Sounds great. Music, art, theater, this is awesome. So thank you so much. I just have a couple things to add. Like Councilor Reed, I got so much out of the Common Ground Conference. And one of the things a number of books were recommended. And I know that Michelle DePina keeps a fabulous library available for city staff, but also for city councilors to check books out, correct? Sure. So there might be a couple recommendations to add to that from some of the speakers that had tremendous civic leadership experience through challenging situations, through finding solutions for communities to come together. One of the really interesting presentations for me personally was from some of the mayors and some of the work that they've done. So I was able to really take a lot of notes on how they did, community building, how they did some of the work around their own personal preparedness for helping move the community forward. I found it very encouraging, very instructive, and I'm looking forward to following up with some of the reading that will come from that as well. So be happy to share that and give us all opportunity to also enjoy that information. The other things coming up, I was in an advisory breakfast with Chepacabana Community College and leadership and some of the workforce folks from the community in workforce development, in curriculum and program development at Chepacabana, along with business leaders, talking about what does the workforce of the future look like. How big needs right now, no secret to anybody, project managers. If you're a project manager, they need you and they need you now and they need you everywhere. Trades and skilled work people. And also, how do we help people who have received a certain level of training for that next step? How do they continue to grow the skill set necessary for the workforce of the future? So it was a great opportunity for us to talk about what this looks like for not only the students leaving high school, but also for the 20 to 40-year-old demographic that are entering the workforce, advancing through the workforce, or changing direction. The other thing that I'd like to remind folks is I was in the Willamette Valley Homeless Alliance Executive Committee. Our full board will be meeting this Thursday, the 8th. We're still meeting by Zoom. And if folks are interested, also go to the website and see when the collaborative committee meets. This is a self-selecting group of between 50 and 80 people representing organizations from one or two folks to some of our largest nonprofit organizations and service providers, talking about how we continue to work together in effectively serving the needs of the people in our community who are homeless, who are housing insecure, who are needing the services very specifically tailored to where they're at. We're continuing to see more and more projects come online that are getting people housed successfully, keeping them housed, and keeping them in a trajectory where they're able to have say-so and be empowered to make differences that last in their lives. With that, one very exciting development is the moving forward with Sequoia Crossing. So you've heard Cornerstone, you've heard of Redwood Crossing. Sequoia Crossing is now going to be a reality. This is Salem Housing and partnership with Marion County and other service organizations, and it's going to be right on Keizer's border. So it's going to be a tremendous opportunity for us to be able to reach out and partner with Sequoia Crossing, the residents there, like we do with St. Monica's and with Samanca, which are two facilities located in Keizer, along with group homes and other outreach that happens right here. So I'm really excited about that project coming online. The other, and thank you, Councilor Reed, for being willing to be at the ribbon cutting for the Union Gospel Mission. Will be opening on the 17th, and that is going to have capacity for 300 men, plus 24/7 access and the ground floor for basic necessities like showers and bathrooms and people to talk to when you need somebody. and he needs somebody who can listen and understand. I'm so excited for this facility, which is trauma-informed designed, and it's going to be serving people, again, dignity, respect, and opportunity for people to be where they're at and then take steps forward. So thank you for being willing to be there. All of you are invited, of course, to the ribbon cutting. I will not be in town that weekend, or I would be there as well. So that is all I have under committee or member reports. Agenda input. We will be we would normally have a work session on the 12th. We don't have a topic, and unless somebody's got something really urgent, I'm not going to use burning. Let's not. We're going to cancel that one. And then on the 19th, we will meet at 7 p.m. in regular session. And then on August 2nd, 7 p.m. in regular session. Also remember, August 3rd is National Night Out. Please have that marked on your calendar and be ready to either travel with our police officers through the community, or I believe, Councilor Herrera, you're going to be having a neighborhood party in your neighborhood, as you
The
mentioned.
first annual, and I'm inviting Chief Teague to be there in person to meet my neighborhood.
And Lieutenant Copeland.
I'll be there.
Yeah, he's going to be there.
You might, okay.
He's a regular. No, I got some folks excited saying they want to meet the chief, so
All right, that sounds great.
I got to make it happen, dude.
We'll underwhelm them, Roland, thanks.
And one thing to follow up, if I may. So Chief Teague, you mentioned it, and we've received communications on it. So at some point, probably as we move through the summer, but over these next several months, I would appreciate a report back on fireworks. What can we do? What does this look like going forward from here? Talking with our partners at Marion County Fire and Keizer Fire and other community groups on what this might look like for Keizer going forward.
Yeah, I'll just comment that it's bigger than a law enforcement problem.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
It's definitely a community-wide conversation, and I think that people need to be very much involved with that conversation as we craft what Keizer is going to be, what steps, if any. I'm not going to make any promises, but together we figure stuff out. And I'd rather us figure it out together rather than say, oh, I think that I'm going to do this and without any input from the community. All right. I want to get that on the radar. Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a real quick shout out to the city staff who made the cooling station and Operation Splash Pad operational during the heat wave. We appreciate that very much.
I would second that for sure. Thank you very much. All right. Since there's no other business, the time is 8:19 and we are adjourned.